You have a nice car, a smartphone, air conditioning, but inside you're a weak man, lost, fearful of responsibility and lacking direction, Epictetus once said. No one can make you weak unless you allow it. It's a thought-provoking quote, and when you think about it deeply, it hits hard. Why is it that despite all the modern luxuries and comforts, so many men today feel emotionally drained, weak and disconnected from their true purpose? We live in an era where everything seems within reach. Material comfort is at our fingertips, yet many of us feel as if something is missing, or worse, as if we're slowly deteriorating. What's happening? Why is this comfort, this ease, this constant availability of pleasure and entertainment making men weaker? This video is here to unmask the true cause of this decline, how modern comforts are destroying masculinity, one small indulgence at a time. Comfort isn't just about living in a nice home or having access to entertainment. It's about the emotional and mental comfort that makes us avoid discomfort, struggle, and growth. It's these comforts that create a society of passive men, men who have forgotten what it means to endure hardship, to build character through struggle. The ancient philosopher Epictetus, who endured slavery and hardship, had a remarkably different view of what it means to be strong. Strength, he argued, comes not from comfort or ease, but from inner resilience and the ability to endure suffering. In this video, we'll explore why comfort is quietly killing masculinity, and how by embracing self-discipline, men can reclaim their strength and become the men they are meant to be. Epictetus, born into slavery in ancient Greece, is one of the greatest philosophers in the Stoic tradition. Despite his humble beginnings and physical enslavement, he lived a life of immense inner freedom, one that transcended the external circumstances of his life. For Epictetus, true strength did not come from material wealth, social status, or external comfort. It came from inner resilience, discipline, and the ability to control one's reactions to the world around him. Epictetus taught that life is full of challenges. Pain, hardship, loss, and suffering are inevitable. However, the key to enduring these challenges lies not in avoiding discomfort, but in how we respond to it. Stoicism as a philosophy teaches that we cannot control the external world, but we can control our reactions to it. This distinction is crucial for understanding how inner strength is built. Epictetus' core teaching centers around what he calls the dichotomy of control, the understanding that some things are within our control and others are not. According to Epictetus, the only things within our control are our own thoughts, beliefs, emotions, and actions. Everything else, the opinions of others, the outcomes of our endeavors, our material wealth, and even our physical health is outside our control. In modern times, we tend to equate strength with control over external circumstances, the ability to manipulate, dominate, or secure our surroundings, relationships, and outcomes. But according to Epictetus, this is a misguided view. True strength lies in the ability to control our internal world, our thoughts, our desires, our fears. Strength is about mastering the self, not the external world. When a man stops trying to control what is outside of his reach, like the opinions of others or the outcomes of his efforts, he frees himself from anxiety, frustration, and disappointment. Instead, he focuses on what he can control, his own actions and responses. For example, when faced with adversity, whether in the form of criticism, failure, or emotional turmoil, Epictetus encourages men to choose their response. Rather than reacting with anger, regret, or despair, a Stoic man would embrace the discomfort as an opportunity for growth. The obstacle is the way, as the Stoics say. Suffering is not to be avoided, but to be understood, confronted, and transcended. This is the essence of inner strength, the ability to remain calm, composed, and purposeful, regardless of external circumstances. Epictetus didn't just teach how to endure suffering, he also taught how to live intentionally in a world that often seeks comfort and pleasure above all else. The modern world, with its abundance of instant gratification, luxuries, and comforts, has made it easier than ever for men to avoid discomfort. Everything from technology to food, from entertainment to relationships is designed to bring immediate satisfaction. While there's nothing wrong with comfort in moderation, Epictetus warned against the danger of excessive comfort, which he saw as a path toward weakness and self-indulgence. He believed that the best way to develop inner strength is to embrace voluntary discomfort. This means choosing to face hardships and withstand physical, emotional, or mental discomfort to build resilience and character. In the Stoic tradition, self-discipline is one of the greatest virtues. Epictetus encouraged his followers to live with purpose, to avoid excess, and to reject the pull of convenience and indulgence. Whether it's denying yourself pleasure for a time or intentionally putting yourself in a challenging situation, the goal is to build the emotional and mental fortitude necessary to navigate life with grace and strength. In practical terms, this might mean forgoing luxuries like taking cold showers to build discipline, engaging in physical exercise to develop stamina and resilience, or practicing delayed gratification to train your mind. The idea is not to suffer for the sake of suffering, but to recognize that discomfort is essential for growth. Perhaps one of the most significant areas where Epictetus's teachings can help modern men is in the realm of emotional mastery. Today's world is emotionally charged with external influences, constantly pushing us towards certain emotional states. Whether it's stress from work, anxiety from social media, or frustration from personal relationships, emotions are often overwhelming and reactive. For Epictetus, emotions like anger, jealousy, and frustration are the results of false beliefs and misperceptions. When you don't have control over your reactions, your emotions end up controlling you. Instead of being driven by external circumstances, Epictetus teaches that you must develop mastery over your emotions by questioning your beliefs and choosing how to respond. For instance, anger often arises when a person feels wronged or disrespected. But according to Epictetus, anger is a reaction to an event, not the event itself. Anger doesn't change the situation, it only escalates it. If you are angry, it's because you choose to be angry. Therefore, you have the power to choose a different emotional response. Instead of reacting impulsively, a Stoic man would reflect on the situation, maintain control of his emotions, and choose a more productive, rational response. Epictetus emphasized that a man's true strength comes from his ability to live in accordance with virtue, which in Stoic terms means living in alignment with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance. Virtue is the only thing that is truly good, according to Epictetus, and it is the only thing that is within our control. Everything else, wealth, pleasure, status, reputation, is secondary and often fleeting. Living a virtuous life means being disciplined in every aspect of your existence. It's about doing what is right, even when it's hard, and staying true to your principles even when the world around you is chaotic or tempting you to compromise. The man who lives with discipline and virtue is immune to the distractions of modern comfort. He understands that true fulfillment does not come from instant gratification, but from the satisfaction of knowing he is living a life of integrity and purpose. Epictetus teaches that the road to strength and freedom is not through comfort, but through the hardships we face and the choices we make in the face of discomfort. To be a strong man, a man of character, is to embrace the discomfort of life, to face challenges head-on, and to act in accordance with your values, regardless of how the world or others might react. In the modern world, where comfort and pleasure are easily accessible, men must choose to live deliberately. The temptation to embrace comfort is everywhere, but as Epictetus would argue, it is in the voluntary rejection of comfort that men find their true strength. The strong man is the one who chooses the difficult path, the one who is willing to endure discomfort for the sake of personal growth and virtue. By following the teachings of Epictetus, modern men can cultivate a strong inner life that is not dependent on external circumstances. They can build their emotional resilience, mental clarity, and self-discipline, and in doing so, create a life that is grounded in purpose, virtue, and strength. True freedom and masculinity come from within, not from the fleeting pleasures of comfort. In the modern world, comfort has become a ubiquitous part of our daily lives. From the moment we wake up, we are surrounded by conveniences designed to make our lives easier. Smartphones, fast food, on-demand entertainment, and climate-controlled environments. While these comforts seem like luxuries that enhance our quality of life, they also carry a hidden cost. They are slowly eroding the fundamental qualities that define true masculinity: resilience, discipline, and strength. As technology advances, society places greater emphasis on comfort and immediacy, leading men into a state of perpetual passivity. The idea of delayed gratification has all but disappeared in the face of a world that demands instant results. You don't have to wait for anything anymore. You can summon food to your door in minutes, binge watch an entire season of your favorite show in a day, and get any answer you need with a quick Google search. These conveniences create a world that prioritizes ease and indulgence, and in doing so they slowly train men to avoid discomfort and shun challenges. In the past, men found strength in their ability to endure hardship. The journey towards self-mastery was built on experiences of struggle, discomfort, and adversity. Now, however, men are being conditioned to avoid discomfort at all costs. The temptation of instant gratification can pull them away from meaningful work, from deliberate self-improvement, and from cultivating emotional and physical resilience. It's easier to sit back and indulge in comfort than it is to face challenges head-on. But as we will see, this avoidance of discomfort is undermining men's true power and their ability to live with purpose. One of the primary ways that modern comforts are weakening men is through the illusion of control. The more comfortable the world becomes, the less men have to deal with the uncertainty and chaos that life naturally brings. In the past, a man had to wake up early to earn his livelihood, walk long distances to work, or endure the hardship of physical labor. These struggles built not only strength but also resilience and character. The unpredictability of life forced men to engage in the world around them and adapt to the circumstances to test themselves and grow. Today, however, technology and convenience have created an illusion of control. We live in an age where comfort is something we can buy, and we can avoid unpleasant experiences altogether. We can avoid physical exertion with the convenience of cars and delivery services, escape emotional discomfort with entertainment and social media, and bypass intellectual struggle with the click of a button. But this illusion of control does more than make life easier. It makes us soft. When we don't face difficult emotions, uncomfortable challenges, or physical exertion, we lose the ability to cope with adversity. The more we insulate ourselves from life's discomforts, the less we learn about our true strength. And strength, as Epictetus taught, is built through self-discipline and endurance. The rise of modern technology has also created a dangerous addiction to dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter. Dopamine is released in response to pleasure and reward, and the more we experience it, the more we crave it. Unfortunately, in today's world, dopamine is no longer tied to meaningful achievements or personal growth. Instead, it is triggered by instant rewards, scrolling through social media, getting likes on a post, playing video games, or watching a TV show. Every time we engage with these things, our brains release a burst of dopamine, reinforcing the desire to seek out more immediate pleasure. While these moments of dopamine release may feel good in the short term, they come at a cost. They distract us from long-term fulfillment, self-discipline, and growth. Instead of challenging ourselves to build something meaningful, learn new skills, or push through difficult tasks, we succumb to the pull of instant gratification. This addiction to dopamine-driven rewards undermines a man's ability to focus on long-term goals and to develop emotional resilience. As a result, men become disconnected from meaningful purpose. Rather than focusing on their work, their relationships, or their health, they chase fleeting pleasures that offer no lasting fulfillment. Over time, this creates an emotional and intellectual stagnation. Without the motivation to work through adversity and grow, men find themselves trapped in a cycle of comfort-seeking behaviors, leading to mental and emotional weakness. Another consequence of modern comfort is the loss of discipline, which is essential for maintaining both physical and mental strength. The act of disciplining the self, whether through physical exercise, developing a new skill, or practicing patience and persistence, is what builds true masculinity. But when men are surrounded by the comforts of modern life, it becomes all too easy to bypass discipline. The ability to endure physical pain, whether through intense exercise, difficult labor, or voluntary discomfort, is what allows men to maintain both their physical strength and mental fortitude. But when technology encourages us to live sedentary lives, ordering food instead of cooking, driving, instead of walking, and relying on virtual interactions instead of real ones, we lose the ability to endure discomfort. The absence of physical discipline leads to a physical weakening. More men are living less active, more sedentary lives, but mental discipline is just as important. When we avoid discomfort in our physical environments, we also avoid intellectual struggles. Whether it's reading difficult material, engaging in hard conversations, or pursuing difficult goals, true masculinity is built through mental fortitude. The more we avoid discomfort, the more our resilience wanes. This is where men become spiritually weak. In a world where everything is easy, where every need is catered to instantly, there's no reason to develop the mental fortitude that comes from pushing through challenges. True masculinity requires strength, and that strength comes from building resilience through discomfort, whether in the gym, at work, or in life's struggles. Modern comforts also feed into a deep-seated fear of failure, the fear that we might fall short or not measure up. Fear of failure is a natural part of growth, but in a world where success seems instant, failure becomes something to avoid at all costs. The rise of social media and instant feedback encourages men to only show the highlights of their lives, carefully curating an image of success that is often detached from reality. This focus on success and perfection leads to the fear of failure, the fear that if we fail, we will be rejected or not valued. Men often shy away from challenges because they are afraid of not being perfect. This fear, while rooted in an understandable desire to protect self-worth, often results in avoidance behaviors. Men begin to shrink from opportunities to push themselves to try new things and to face challenges head-on. But here's the truth. Failure is essential for growth. In fact, failure is one of the greatest teachers of strength and resilience. When we fail, we learn, adapt, and become stronger. The comfort-driven society of today pushes men to avoid the very thing that leads to growth, discomfort, and failure. Modern comforts are quietly killing masculinity. They train men to seek instant gratification, avoid discomfort, and stay within the confines of what is easy. But as Epictetus said, true strength comes from enduring hardship, whether it's physical, mental, or emotional. The only way for men to reclaim their masculinity is to embrace discomfort, to practice discipline, and to confront their fears head-on. By doing so, men can begin to reconnect with their true strength, the inner resilience that allows them to endure, grow, and build a meaningful life. They can rise above the traps of instant gratification and build a life grounded in virtue, purpose, and discipline. True masculinity is not defined by comfort, wealth, or ease. It is defined by strength in the face of adversity. It is a life of challenge, growth, and endurance. Only when men step away from the comforts that weaken them and embrace the discomfort that builds true power will they reclaim their emotional, physical, and mental strength. The fall of the strong man is rarely dramatic or immediate, is not a sudden collapse or a catastrophic event. Instead, it's a slow erosion, a gradual drifting away from the very essence of what it means to be strong, both mentally and physically. Men in today's world are not being destroyed by clear, visible forces. They are being worn down by the quiet comfort of modern life. This slow erosion of strength is insidious, and it often goes unnoticed until it's too late. When we think of strength, we often imagine physical prowess or the ability to face external challenges with determination and courage. But strength is much deeper than this. It's about mental resilience, emotional stability, and the ability to endure discomfort. The strong man is one who remains steadfast in his purpose, even in the face of hardship.
But in today's world, where comfort is so readily available, men are losing this kind of resilience in the most subtle ways.
It starts with small things, a man who avoids difficult tasks because they feel uncomfortable, or a man who chooses convenience over the discipline of a challenging workout. The modern world has created a culture of ease where everything is just a click away, where instant gratification is the standard, and where physical and mental discomfort are things to be avoided. Men who fall into this lifestyle begin to disconnect from the very qualities that make them strong. They slowly lose their drive, their discipline, and their ability to deal with adversity. This gradual decline is not just about physical strength, it's about the deterioration of emotional and mental fortitude. When a man becomes accustomed to a life of comfort, he stops confronting his emotional triggers. He avoids the discomfort of facing his vulnerabilities, his weaknesses, and his past. Instead, he fills the void with distractions, social media entertainment, unhealthy relationships, and short-term pleasures. These distractions numb the pain of emotional vulnerability and keep him from growing. The strong man once faced challenges with resilience, whether it was the rigors of his work, his emotional struggles, or his physical limitations. But now, in a world where everything is easy, the very act of struggle feels unnatural. The more a man avoids facing difficulty, the more his strength diminishes. He becomes emotionally numb, mentally stagnant, and physically weakened. In avoiding the discomfort of life's challenges, he has inadvertently allowed himself to fall into a pattern of passivity. This passivity becomes a prison. It is a silent fall, one where a man doesn't even realize he is giving up his power until it is too late. He becomes so accustomed to being comfortable, to having his needs met immediately and effortlessly, that he loses the willingness to push himself. Self-discipline feels foreign. The idea of sacrificing comfort for growth seems unreasonable. He might begin to feel aimless, lacking the drive he once had. The man who once had purpose and direction becomes entrenched in a cycle of apathy, where the pursuit of self-fulfillment is replaced by the pursuit of comfort. The danger here is that comfort becomes the goal, and when comfort becomes the goal, everything that requires effort and sacrifice begins to feel like an unnecessary burden. This mental and emotional numbness takes a toll on relationships as well. The man who has grown accustomed to emotional comfort finds it hard to engage deeply with his partner. He's emotionally passive, unable to face conflict or emotional intimacy with the same depth of engagement he once had. He no longer knows how to hold space for his partner's emotions, nor is he able to share his own vulnerabilities. As a result, the relationship becomes superficial, a cycle of fleeting affection and distant disconnection. The strong man once felt purposeful in his pursuits. He sought challenges that tested his abilities, that forced him to grow. Now those challenges feel too difficult to face. His emotional numbness spreads into every area of life: his health, his career, his relationships, and his sense of self. He disconnects from his true purpose, from the desire to live with meaning and value. He simply exists, responding to external stimuli, but without the internal drive to create and build. One of the most tragic aspects of this silent fall is that it is often unnoticed. On the surface, the man may appear to be fine. He may still have a job, a family, and external markers of success. But deep down, he feels lost, empty, and unsure of his place in the world. The emotional numbness leads to an existential void, where the man no longer knows what truly matters to him. He has conformed to a life of comfort, but in doing so, he has lost the very things that gave his life meaning. The truth is that comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't demand much, it doesn't come with loud alarms or overt signs of danger. But its consequences are slow, steady, and devastating. The more a man seeks ease and avoids discomfort, the more he distances himself from the traits that define strength, resilience, discipline, grit, and purpose. Comfort breeds mental weakness, not because it's inherently bad, but because it prevents men from engaging in the hard work of personal growth. Comfort allows a man to become soft. It makes him forget what it means to struggle, to fail, and to rise again. In a world that has created an easy path, men have forgotten the virtue of the struggle. And without the struggle, they fail to develop the strength needed to face life's bigger challenges. The solution lies not in rejecting all comfort, but in balancing it with challenge, in consciously choosing to confront discomfort, to seek out hardship, and to embrace struggle as a means of growth. When a man chooses discomfort intentionally, whether it's physical, emotional, or mental, he sharpens his resilience. He builds his inner strength and in turn becomes the man he is capable of being. The fall of the strong man happens silently, but it doesn't have to be permanent. By reclaiming discipline, embracing discomfort, and consciously engaging with life's challenges, men can rebuild their strength. This requires the courage to step away from the comforts that weaken them and to return to the practices that foster resilience and purpose. When men choose to live with intention, they reclaim not only their physical and mental strength, but their sense of self. They become leaders in their own lives, capable of facing any challenge that comes their way, unshaken and undeterred. This is the true strength that Epictetus championed, a strength that is built through discipline, discomfort, and self-mastery. In a world where comfort is an endless temptation, the rebirth of masculinity lies not in avoiding hardship, but in deliberately seeking it out. Men today are more privileged than any generation before them, surrounded by comforts that make life easier, more convenient, and seemingly stress-free. But in this constant pursuit of ease, they are slowly losing the essence of what it means to be truly strong, both mentally and emotionally. The true strength of masculinity is forged not in the absence of discomfort, but in the face of it. For centuries, great men have been made in the furnace of struggle, from the great philosophers like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius to warriors and leaders throughout history. The journey to true strength has been one of hardship, challenge, and continuous self-discipline. Modern masculinity demands no less. Discipline, endurance, and resilience are not just abstract ideas, they are the foundation upon which men must build their true strength today. It might seem counterintuitive, but discomfort is a key ingredient in building strength. The modern world provides countless ways to avoid discomfort, from fast food to instant gratification through screens and entertainment. But these conveniences leave men weak, emotionally numb, and disconnected from their purpose. To break free from this cycle, men must choose discomfort. Choosing discomfort might mean waking up early when you'd rather stay in bed. It might mean enduring the physical pain of a hard workout or facing the emotional discomfort of difficult conversations or challenges. It's about choosing to be uncomfortable in the short term to build resilience for the long term. When a man constantly avoids discomfort, he saps his own strength. Discomfort, on the other hand, forces growth. It challenges men to adapt, endure, and become stronger. When a man embraces discomfort, he takes control of his life rather than becoming a passive participant, simply reacting to what life throws at him. He becomes the architect of his own resilience, creating a foundation of strength that can withstand life's hardships. Stoicism is one of the most powerful philosophical frameworks for building resilience and discipline. Stoic philosophers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca taught that the path to true strength lies in understanding what is within our control and what is not. In a world that is often chaotic and unpredictable, Stoicism provides a roadmap for how to maintain mental and emotional control, even in the most difficult of circumstances. Epictetus, who was born a slave, famously said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how we respond to them." This simple yet profound truth is the essence of Stoicism. It teaches us that external events are beyond our control, but our internal responses are always within our power. The modern man can learn from this by accepting life's challenges without bitterness or frustration, and instead using them as opportunities to grow and learn. In the context of masculinity, Stoic discipline calls for men to control their emotions and not be swayed by external factors. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions, it means understanding and mastering them,
rather than letting them control you. When life presents challenges, a Stoic man responds with calm and clarity. He is not overwhelmed by fear, anger, or frustration. Instead, he maintains rationality and purpose, using every situation as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement. While Stoicism emphasizes mental and emotional resilience, it's equally important to focus on physical discipline. A man who neglects his physical health cannot expect to have the same strength of character or emotional resilience as one who cares for his body. Physical discipline is about pushing your body to its limits through strength training, endurance exercises, and other forms of physical challenges that force you to grow. When you push your body physically, you learn to endure discomfort. Whether it's the soreness after a tough workout, the exhaustion after a long run, or the perseverance it takes to lift more weight than you thought possible, these physical challenges mirror the mental and emotional challenges of life. They teach you how to persevere and how to grow through adversity. The physical discipline that builds strength in the gym or on the track translates to mental and emotional fortitude in daily life. It teaches you that growth comes from pushing past the limits, whether physical, mental, or emotional. By practicing physical discipline, you develop the mental toughness that is needed to face the challenges of life with strength and purpose. Another powerful habit to cultivate is waking up early. Waking up early isn't just about being productive. It's about taking control of your day from the moment you rise. The discipline of early rising forces you to step away from comfort and take immediate action. It sets the tone for the day, prioritizing purpose over ease.